What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Alex G. I'm alongside Mal, and this is the A Couple of Things podcast where we are here to talk about a couple of things. First things first, Kendrick. His album just came out Friday. Just came out yesterday. So, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, double disc. Even though
We don't
I didn't
have this
really,
no more.
I didn't really get the differentiation between the two parts of the album as of yet, because of course with the Kendrick album you do have to, there's a lot that goes into the sequencing and the relationship between all the different tracks. So I still have to listen to it. I listened to it maybe 3 times all the way through so far.
When?
I listened to it when it came out. I listened to it in the gym.
You listened to the gym yesterday?
Yeah, I listened to the whole album in the gym, and I listened to it this morning. So even still going three times all the way through, there's still so many different things to catch.
So you still haven't really made that connection yet for the double sides?
Not for that, but like in overall, what I got from it. I mean, first and foremost, let me just say how I feel about the album. I thought that the album was phenomenal. So when these type of artists drop these types of albums, it just makes me really realize how much I don't like other people's albums, because you could tell when somebody really takes the time and effort into every single song, and even down to the ad libs and the different vocals and the changes in instrumentation, all those different weird nerdy music things that I personally love. You can tell when you go listen to that type of album and then you go and listen to what everybody else makes, and it's just crazy because like it gives me more of an appreciation, because it's crazy because with this album it's like I'm going back to look at albums that recently came out, and then I'm like, I really like this album, but now Kendrick's album is making me not like the other album.
And the funny thing is, I know I always bring up Drake, but even sometimes when stuff like Kendrick drops, I'm like, wow, Drake is really kind of mid now. Because the old him, I feel like, was really good. The new him, but yeah, maybe that's a bad example. But that's just my example because I have a vendetta.
Yeah, so the album was great. I really enjoyed it. Me personally, Kendrick doesn't have a huge discography, but I liked it a lot better than Damn and To Pimp a Butterfly. To be honest, I think it kind of was like a more refined version of both of those albums put together.
Did you like Damn?
I like Damn a lot. The thing I didn't like about Damn was that I wasn't like super huge fond of like the production on it.
Yeah, that's why I was asking. I feel like the production is so different from this album than that one.
Yeah, this one sounds like a lot like richer, and there's a lot more to it. Like
Damn felt more poppy, right? Like more mainstream.
I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like the way it was mixed, the sonics of it all. Like it was great. Like I love the song Love on Damn, but like the beat. And the beat isn't bad. Like all the beats are good, but they're like, it's just different when you compare two different things. Yeah. It's like I can appreciate those songs for what they are, but then when you compare them to like this kind of stuff, it's nowhere close in my opinion.
I feel like his discography kind of reminds me of Kanye. I know I always bring up Kanye, but in the sense that each album has its own like feel.
Really?
Yeah,
it does.
Like I feel like he evolves. Like it's funny because people will complain about how rappers don't evolve, but then they complain about Kendrick evolving and trying new things.
But I don't even think he tried anything new, which is the crazy part. Like in the intro when that crazy beat came in and it was all over the place and chaotic, it reminds me of this one song from Section 80 where the beat is all over the place and chaotic. So it's like just a more refined version. I thought it was like a really good album. I put it number 2. Obviously, I don't think any rap album ever in history. Maybe Reasonable Doubt, maybe. I mean, like in terms of rap albums, and this is just personally, because I know people throw Illmatic top 1, whatever. Me personally, because I didn't grow up in that generation, I put Good Kid, Mad City as the best rap album of all time.
Of all time.
Of all time.
It was a really, really good album. It's up there, but of all time.
Of all time.
I mean, I think that's a fair. Yeah, response. It's a fair rank.
Listen, I could get killed all day.
Even above My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Yeah, I think
is that second for you? My Beautiful.
No, I think Dark Twisted Fantasy was probably it was definitely the best rap album in the 2010s. But when I'm putting it in context of everything in history, I wouldn't put Dark Twisted Fantasy up there.
Is it in your top 10?
No.
I'm shocked.
But I listen to music differently than you. So for me, my rap albums, I'm putting in Eminem and Nas and 50 Cent and like mad other different rappers that have better albums. And that might not be something you listen to or other people listen to, but they still get placed up there for me.
Okay, that's fair. Everybody, you know.
And I hate
Kid, Mad City is definitely top 5 for me.
I hate, and not saying this about you, but I hate people that like don't
they don't know music.
Not that, but I hate people that don't. What's the best way to put this? They don't. One, I hate people that don't accept change. So a new artist can make an album that's better than artists that came out previously. People don't want to do that. Like people don't want to say that today's basketball players are better than the past basketball players just because they hold on to the nostalgia. But literally, if you put Kevin Durant back on any team in 1962, he's averaging 100 points and 90 rebounds a game. And I feel
isn't it crazy? Like you'd be like, oh, he's better than Michael Jordan, and everybody's like, no, not better than Jordan. It's like he might be. Yeah,
that's the thing. It's like he really might be like. And
like we got, like you said, you gotta let go of that nostalgia.
Yeah. So for me, I look at things for what they are. So Kendrick can have an album that's better than a Biggie album, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. But it's tough because Ready to Die was like both of them.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with Biggie too.
Life After Death, sorry.
The thing with Biggie too, it sucks when a lot of these rappers we never got to see what they would have been. Can you imagine? Isn't that like the most depressing thing about rappers dying? There's so much music that we probably would have never thought we would have got. Like, can you imagine having a full discography from Biggie?
Yeah, it would have been nuts.
Tupac, X, like just mad people. It's a shame.
X being in there is funny.
I know, right? It's like, how do you go from that?
No, but I know because where he was going and the way he was progressing melodically and the types of music he was making he was on a path. But yeah,
it sucks.
But yeah, I thought the album was excellent.
Yeah.
I think I still need to sit with it and break down the lyrics because with an album like that, I'm going to be listening to this like 20 years from now.
I think too, once you actually like let the album marinate a little bit, then you'll be able to really give a full, like, I know you ranked the second to Good Kid, Mad City. But yeah. Sometimes, once it evolves, you might have a different ranking.
Nah.
Sometimes you have to go back and listen to other stuff too. For me, I feel like I have to do that sometimes. Like when I rank an album, sometimes I have to go back and listen to the other albums.
Yeah, the only reason I won't rank it above Good Kid is literally just because of the story thing. Like I
don't think you ever would do that.
I literally feel like they should have made it, and it was discussed amongst Twitter at least. I don't know if there were any legitimate business meetings, but it was discussed turning that into an actual movie because the album from front to back, you can listen to it all the way through, and the story is being told all the way through from different perspectives. And that whole thing that he did on the part 5 where he's rapping from other people's perspectives, that was something he did on Good Kid, Mad City when he was rapping from his friend's brother's perspective, where he's like talking about his brother getting killed and like you putting his name in the song and blah 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 blah. But what was that? What song am I thinking of? Yeah, I'm thinking of The Art of Peer Pressure. I'm pretty sure is what I'm thinking of. Or he might have done it on he's done that on Section 82 when he was rapping from the perspective of women. Like God, like there's just so many times he's done this, but that's why I feel like this is just like a well-refined version of like all of the creative things he's ever done.
Yeah. It was just like, and then everybody talks about the engineering.
Yeah, the engineering was nuts.
Like the album was literally crisp.
It's beautiful. But that's what I mean. Like even something like that to me makes an album so much better than a past album.
It's like watching a good movie, like with a good camera and a good sound system. Like that's a part of your experience when you're listening to music, and having really good engineering makes a difference. Compared to listening to songs, you about to get like, I forgot what song I was listening to the other day. My eardrums literally were ringing. Like the frequency or something was so messed up, and I was like, this hurt. Like I'm like, I shouldn't be in pain listening to music.
It's crazy, literally, because I'm such a weirdo. So like when we were listening to it for the first time together, when that song, and I don't know the album. I mean the song titles yet, unfortunately, but the one with when they were arguing back and forth on the song. It's called We Something.
Cried Together.
We Cry Together.
Yeah.
Obviously, the second the pianos came in, I'm like, this is Alchemist beat. But for me, I'm such a weirdo that I know that Alchemist doesn't track out his instrumentals, so he doesn't send the stems to an engineer to make. But this sounded like he did. So like even that is like I'm more appreciative of that, because the type of beats that Alchemist makes, the rappers that usually rap on them are very like they don't mix them, so the songs sound a little, you know, grungy, which is cool, I guess. But for me, it makes it stand out way differently when it's mixed and everything is put together, and it sounds like somebody took time to make the album
and actually put like that effort. Because I feel like sometimes that effort becomes lost in music. Like that effort is put in other things. Even music videos sometimes I feel like have more effort than the songs. Like I feel like I don't know why it's like that's like a lost thing nowadays. Yeah,
and that's why I like the PG Lang thing, because they are doing both. Like Dave Free, all the crazy videos that they did through the Black Panther run, and just Kendrick's videos and in general, all those videos, Baby Keem now being a part of that, his videos.
I love a good music video.
Yeah, the N95 video just came out. I didn't get to watch it.
We'll watch it after.
But
even like Baby Keem's videos, like they're really good. Honestly, for music videos, they're up there. Obviously, Baby Keem and Kendrick. Kanye's up there. And then what's that one guy who does so many videos? It was something Lemonade.
Lyrical Lemonade.
Right? Is that the actual producer?
No, who
am I thinking of?
Cole Bennett is the person that makes it.
He's a top videographer, in my opinion. Those are like, for me, the standouts that I could think of on the top of my head right now.
Yeah. So overall, I guess to give an actual album review, if we haven't already done that, but yeah, I definitely rank it up there. Number 2 in Kendrick's discography. I think it was great. I know that there were some people that were complaining about the fact that there's no quote unquote hits on it. But I think you saying what is a hit or not after day one is like kind of.
That's what I hate. Like, I know we're giving our opinion now, but people will be so quick to give like their opinion on an album before you even had a chance to marinate. Like, they'd be so quick to be like, this album's mid, this is trash, this is what we've been waiting for. I'm like, let it marinate, because that happens so many times where then it ends up songs become like, they go off, and you would never thought this would be the song that would go off, you know?
Yeah.
Like, once, all you need is for one of them songs to end up on TikTok.
And then it
gets catchy, and everybody's like, yeah, this is lit, and then they...
Like, you saw the second open TikTok the other day, the first thing that popped up was somebody doing a song already. It had 70,000 likes. So it's like...
It's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, like, I need to re-listen. But I do think just off of first listen, like you could tell it's good music. You could just tell production-wise, lyric-wise, like, this. I just love when rappers don't talk about the stuff that everybody else talks about. Like,
yeah, because we want to hear that.
About literally trans and gay people. Like, who else talking about that in rap unless they're insulting them?
Now, for me, not gonna lie, and nobody's asking for my opinion on that, I thought that song was great. I don't particularly care for that topic, but like you said, the fact that he's
talking about it
is, and somebody's gonna be out there and relate to that.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people that
tweets already. People were, and it's crazy because people were thinking that he was
insulting.
Word. Yeah, but then the literally was somebody that was like, he was in tears listening to the song because he's happy for representation or something, or just hearing a rapper talk about it. I'm like, wow, like,
yeah.
People would just be so quick to think that he's insulting somebody. And
he wasn't. Like, that's the thing, because if you actually listen, because that was the song I actually listened intently on every single lyric the first listen through. And he was saying how, like, they were young, stupid, ignorant, and using these words, not knowing the moments.
In the Black community, because we all do that. Like, I never said that word, never. But, you know, I know that's a thing in our community, especially when you're young. Yeah,
he's just highlighting that they were throwing out those words. Meanwhile, his aunt was...
gay
was gay and bringing whatever the proper term is, and just going through that whole the growing pains and people trying to learn and understand what this stuff really means. And obviously we're in a woke culture now at this point, so we know what's politically correct and what's not, but the whole song was literally just talking about, you know, growing and being and maturing and understanding what that stuff means.
And who is talking about those things? What rapper is talking about those things? Not nobody I know of.
Yeah.
So that's like, that was just my first impression. Like, of course, I knew Kendrick wasn't gonna disappoint and not have like politically driven type of music, but yeah. And it's funny too because I saw somebody complain. You saw a tweet I read to you the other day where she was like, "Drake's a breath of fresh air because he doesn't do the conscious rap." And then you were like, "How is that a breath of fresh air?" Less like the state of rap today. Nobody is rapping conscious rap. Like that's what is she talking about?
The thing, even further to that point,
like why bring like it's just weird.
Most people, even super lyrical people, don't do conscious rap.
They don't. Literally. If you think about who's this conscious rap, let's think. Obviously, Kendrick.
J. Cole, and that's it.
Yeah, right.
In terms of people that are
popular.
Think
about like, if you think about like, I always talk about Kanye, but Kanye doesn't necessarily do conscious rap. He just talks about issues, current issues.
I don't even know if J. Cole does anymore.
Yeah, right.
I don't really think that there's anybody that's
like
popular.
She's acting like that's the whole industry. Like I'm like that's a minority at this point, and it never was. Conscious rap was never a majority.
It wasn't.
Never. So I'm like, what are you talking about? A breath of fresh air? Like, people just be talking. I'm like, take Twitter away. Elon's gonna make it more accessible. But
that would be great if he bought it and then deleted Twitter.
Right? Yeah, I would. I actually wouldn't be upset.
I wouldn't mind.
I literally wouldn't
not
be
mind.
mad.
That would be the most beautiful thing
as long as I can save all my pictures beforehand.
That would be the most beautiful thing ever.
If he sent you a file where you have all your data and I can have all my pictures and tweets, I'll be fine with that. Delete the app today.
To get in my weird business talk real quick. He unfortunately, if he had the money to buy the company by himself, he would be able to do that. But unfortunately, because he has to bring in investors to take it private, he can't. He wouldn't be able to do that without their.
Oh, you can like. I didn't know you could do that. You could reverse
IPO. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, you could. Because what you have to do...
Has like any major company have ever done that?
Yeah, and I wouldn't be able to tell you off the top of my head. But yeah, if you raise enough money to buy... Because technically what they have to do is, as Elon and the other partners that help to take the thing private, they basically have to buy everybody's...
The dividends, all the
stockholders' shares.
To pay them.
Yeah, pay them their shares and then take all those shares off the market. It's basically a buyback of stocks, and then you could... private the company. But anyway, album was great. If you haven't listened to it already, I don't know why you're on this video. So, podcast.
I know people could relate to We Cry Together.
Yeah, that song was fire.
Us.
That song was super fire.
That was I mean, it's toxic. Like I said, when I was into it gave me like anxiety because I'm like, people really be arguing like this. Like, it's just... I think it's very like it's funny because somebody said, "Oh, this is representative of our generation." I'm like, nah, this is representative of every generation. Every generation fights about stuff like this and it fights like that. But it's just sad because that's literally so many relationships. Like it's actually sad, and I think that's normalized. And a song like this, it makes me wonder if a song like this will make people realize how bad it is, or if it makes people realize that this is normal. Me and my boyfriend argue like this, so I guess it's normal. Because Kendrick highlighting it, it's like, nah, Kendrick is highlighting the negativity of it.
Yeah, and he may not even be...
he might not even be in a toxic relationship. Well, he might though, because I heard he cheated on his fiance.
Right, which I would highly doubt that song was about them. But he probably was rapping about because he could have been talking about what he saw growing up. And that's the thing about art, is that people will listen to a song, especially with somebody like Kendrick, like I said before, that has rapped from other people's perspectives all the time. Like that whole song could have been about him and his mom and his dad, or like his aunt, or some uncle, other family member, or just something that he's seen in the past.
Or just friends. He might have seen a good friend.
Yeah, it could have been anything. Yeah. Like he's the one performing it, but not necessarily, the story isn't necessarily coming from his perspective all the time. But that's what I mean. Like when you listen, I
think the song was supposed to invoke emotion of like, this is not cute.
Yeah, and
it's toxic. And
that's what I think he does a pretty good job about with making conscious rap, but like we dance into it. Like we always reference swimming pools with the whole song is about alcoholism and drowning in alcohol addiction, but we sitting there, dancing to it. Yeah, swimming pools is great.
Yeah.
And I think this is another one of those sorts of things. He did an equivalent of that was the N95 song, which is the second song in the album, where literally in the beginning of the song, he's like, turn off the gossip, turn off your Wi-Fi, turn off your money phones, like kill the the memes, like kill all that kind of stuff because people are just dumb. But the beat is up tempo, and
the people gonna be like
Baby Keem and Boy Wonder made it, and additional producers. I don't mean to exclude them, but you know, he does a good job of like making the super conscious songs, but also making conscious songs with a good beat behind it, or not good beat, but popular type beat that people can turn up to, I guess. But yeah, I like the album a lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to listen to it again. I need a full second listen with no distractions. I was kind of distracted when we was listening. We were working. It was early in the morning.
No,
so I need a second listen.
Yeah. Staying in music, A$AP Rocky did a interview with Nori on Drink Champs where he discussed a lot of different things that kind of weren't ever discussed for with A$AP Rocky. The larger topic was him, and I didn't really like the way that I mean, they are the media, but I don't like calling them the media, but the way the blogs, people still call them blogs, the Instagram pages, whatever you want to call them, they kind of posted the clip of A$AP Rocky saying that Travis took his style, but he didn't say that. Like,
yeah, I hate how it was like a 6 second clip.
Yeah, like, he was asked the question. He's just like, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not like he delved into it. Like,
and the headline said that, like, oh, he said this. Nobody even watched the clip. People still at their big age and this year still follow headlines,
right,
without extra research.
But the other thing that I thought was interesting, we could get into that in a second. The other story that I thought was interesting was he apparently got confronted, I guess is probably not the best word, but you know, he got confronted by Jay-Z about a line that he said way back in the day.
A$AP?
Yeah.
Oh, he said that in the interview.
Yeah. The line was what song is that from? Cristal. Basically, long story short, for people that don't know, so Cristal was a popular, maybe still is a popular alcohol that was like probably the original alcohol that you got clout off of for
G6.
You know, drinking in the club and ordering and stuff like that. G6. We're ignoring that, but
give me that.
Yeah, we're ignoring that. But
ladies love my style.
Cristal was supposedly a racist brand, kind of like the same way Tommy Hilfiger and you know all the other sorts of brands.
So Cristal's not even relevant no more. I actually haven't heard people say. No, I haven't heard that name in like 10 years.
But that's why, and Jay-Z put it in a song. He says,
so they got it out of here.
What song was that? On to the next one.
Oh, on to the next one. On to the next. That one.
Yeah. He said something about Cristal, but he said something about like ordering Cristal, but fuck that because they're racist. So Jay-Z owns the Ace of Spades brand, and Ace of Spades was the one to replace Cristal in the culture of like being the clout sort of alcohol. Yeah. And I don't think a lot of people know. I mean, people should know now at this point, but I don't think a lot of people knew even back in the day that Jay-Z was the one that owns Ace of Spades.
A lot of people don't know that. Like I saw a TikTok or something recently where people were like, "Oh, I didn't know this person owned this company." It was like mad different random celebrities that own like somebody owns Casamigos.
George Clooney.
Yeah, George Clooney. Like people were like, they didn't know that. I'm like, it's crazy. Jay-Z owns Duce
and Ace of
Spades. Yeah, obviously Ciroc is Diddy. Yeah.
Although I don't know
if he owns it anymore, right?
I don't know if he ever owned it.
Yeah, I don't know. If actually, was he just
supposedly he might have just been a spokesperson. Yeah, supposedly.
Oh, look, he made it seem like he owned it.
We don't know, but yeah. So Rocky said some line. He was like, "Cristal, that's by the cases, something. Might buy the aces."
Years ago.
Yeah, this was like 2013 maybe. He was like, "Cristal, that's by the cases." It was peso.
Oh.
Yeah, Cristal is by the cases.
I knew it was peso because when you made that sound, it sounded like peso, but I didn't think it was. I'm like, oh, he would know peso.
Do the aces ain't no difference when you taste it?
So, oh yeah, I may have heard.
So Jay-Z apparently he didn't run down on him, but he apparently ran into like some other A$AP people and they asked him about it.
And the crazy thing is that song was like A$AP's like song that really got him out of here. Right?
Yeah.
Peso. And what else was it that got him out of here? Around that same time. I think it was just Peso.
Purple Swag.
Yeah, maybe it was that one.
Because the white girl saying nigga.
Oh.
But to get directly back into the ASAP and Travis situation, so the question came up. Basically, Rocky just confirmed that he believes that Travis stole his style. Obviously, musically, I don't believe that he did because they don't sound anywhere remotely close to one another. Like any of the early, especially around when this quote unquote beef, I guess, happened anyway. Mm-hmm. Definitely around that, not that time, and definitely not now either. Like I've never heard Rocky use auto-tune.
I never even got them confused or was like, oh, this sounds like a Travis song. This sounds like an ASAP song.
Yeah, that's never happened. Yeah. So musically, I don't think that that's Rocky's issue. But just to throw out there, Rocky does get significant amount of influence. Maybe not so much now, but maybe he does. But
he definitely was like a staple. It was like the hip hop fashion.
No, I mean for music, like the Houston influence.
Oh, okay,
because Travis is from Missouri City, I believe, mm-hmm. which is close to Houston. Mm. If they did a "You're Not from Houston" song,
yeah,
Missouri City would be in there.
Yeah,
but that part, not that it matters, but it's just an interesting thing. It's like Travis is from there, and Rocky's like taking the musical influences from there. But aside from that, it definitely has to be the aesthetic of A$AP Rocky that Travis feels, or that the A$AP Rocky's aesthetic that he feels that Travis ripped from him,
like the braids, the graphic tees.
Yeah, because at the time when like Peso hit, Travis didn't have the long hair at that point. Like he was growing it out.
He had the short hair. Like his hair was short, right?
Yeah, it was like the nubs.
And didn't he have like a fade?
Yeah.
Like it was just like typical black boy hairstyle.
So in terms of aesthetics, I could understand that because Rocky at that point already had the braids.
Yeah.
The Pusha
he was known for the braids.
The Pusha T braids.
Yeah.
Around that time. So aesthetically, I can understand that, especially because that was around the time of like Tumblr and stuff like that. So you might have seen Rocky with like wearing a black scale snapback backwards and like the braids and stuff like that. And I do, in a way, feel like there may have been some influence there, but it's also tough to tell sometimes because as the times shift mm-hmm. and like people just are on something at one particular time. So it's hard to tell whether the person's following the trend or if they're following the other person directly, because they do have like a lot of close related,
like influences.
And like industrial ties. Like Travis obviously has relationship with Virgil through Kanye, mm-hmm. But also Rocky has a relationship with Virgil just because of the fashion aspect.
New York,
and like
being in New York.
Yeah, and they were cool. Like Virgil would do like, even the whole name Off-White came from A$AP. Like the A$AP Mob, like they came up with the whole brand name themselves. So they all have close related ties, and like Rocky with Ben Trill and making that whole thing popular, but Travis has connections to Matt Williams through Kanye, and like that whole Travis Ben Trill collab came about. Yeah. So there's just like a lot of like.
So Travis was around, like he was seeing the fits. He was around Kanye. You know.
Mm-hmm. So it's
like, was he copying you? Maybe not, but maybe he just was inspired in some ways.
And who knows? Because then, like, even if you take Tyler the Creator, who really made, I guess for maybe the newer generation, because you could argue people like Jim Jones, Ghostface, like all the old Supreme face tees with like the box logo face tees. You can debate who made those popular, but like at least for the newer generation, when Tyler the Creator came out with like Yonkers and him and the Lawyer Squad were all running around with not Lawyer Squad, God, but like Odd Future, they were all running around with the Supreme box logo hats, and it's like, Travis and Rocky were wearing Supreme box logo. So it's just tough to tell sometimes whether it's ripping off a specific person or people just happen to all get onto something.
A moment in time. And we know too, like there was something about that time period where like fashion just went to a whole different level. Like that was just an era. Like between like 2012 to like 2017, 2018, that was just a crazy era for streetwear. Probably like one of the most like monumental years of it, honestly.
Yeah.
But all the brands that came out, Yeezys, everything, that was just the time. So.
Yeah, it's tough to tell.
It is hard to tell, but I can see why he might feel that way, because New York has a specific style. So when you see people from other cities kind of dressing like New York, it's like You must be inspired by somebody who's from New York. Even though nowadays it's all convoluted, everybody's kind of dresses like it's all kind of mixed, but New York still has a certain edge. Like like you just be in New York. Like we were just there today. Like you see people's fit and people just be fly. Like I don't see that anywhere else, any other city I've ever traveled to. I need to go to Asia because I'm sure that's how it is in Asia.
I think it's because it's so hot everywhere else. People can't dress properly.
You're right, but even in the summer, people's fits be flee here. There's a certain look about New Yorkers. I don't know. I just don't see any other city. Cause Cali don't get hot like that. That's like they get cold. They get cold days, and they don't really be flee over there.
I think it's the demographic. Like I think New York is more grungy just in general. I think there's more people that don't have money in New York. So
sometimes don't have money actually makes the fits flee.
Yeah, like it makes people fly. Like I just feel like the people
more creative
in LA are more like
trendy.
Yeah, more uppity. Like there's just like a certain way they carry themselves. Like in New York, you have to be tough in a way. Like just because the city is kind of tough.
Yeah, what about Houston? We talking about Travis.
Houston?
Like, do they even have a specific style?
I don't think so.
Right? Because a lot of their influences have a lot of like Hispanic people down there, like Spanish people. And they kind of all go off. You know, I feel like no offense, but they're the ones that be saying the N-word down there. They be acting like black. So this, and they, you know, they like to wear the jeans with the ones.
Okay. I'm not familiar with their fashion.
No, but I just know a lot of like Spanish girls from Texas. That's literally, they say the N-word, they eat hot Cheetos.
Okay. but yeah, they just have to fight. I mean, I've been waiting for them to fight for a while, so hopefully.
I think at this point it's long gone. I don't think they're gonna fight.
Hopefully
Travis got 2 kids.
Hopefully they get that done.
ASAP got his on the way, which I don't know what's taking so long. I thought Rihanna Ben do.
She might have had the baby. She don't gotta tell y'all.
Nah, there was a picture of her just the other day. Her out and about, I think in Malibu.
Yeah. So, you know, for me, it's like, and I think what fuels it too is people making the jokes, but they don't look anywhere remotely close to each other.
They don't.
Physically, music wise, like nothing about them.
Because the thing about Ace,
even
Travis
clothing
too,
still.
Yeah, but even with Travis too, his style is more skater.
Yeah, like he still wears cargo pants.
Never really gave me skater vibe. He kind of dabbles in it, but he kind of gives me more like archive fashion. Like obviously his whole thing was Raph, Rick. Travis was never really like that. He was a skater, you know, skater type, right? Like Vans.
I mean,
the graphic tees, the jeans, the skinny jeans.
But he was doing that with Raph. Because like when the 2014 Sterling Ruby Raph Simmons collaboration came out, Travis was wearing that.
Right.
And obviously Rocky was on to Raph, so it was just tough to tell. I mean, that's what the thing is.
Okay, maybe that's ASAP's argument, because ASAP was always like I'm the fashion head, like the archive, like the high end fashion street. Like he was like the king of fashion, like high end fashion street, I would call it.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody else.
Nobody was doing that. They were just wearing Jordans, graphics, cargos. Like nobody was really doing that whole mixing the Raph, Rick. Almost like he's the reason why a lot of people even know those brands exist.
Yeah,
him pushing it in the music.
Yeah. So they got to fight.
No.
They really should have this celebrity boxing, and I'm joking.
No, they should.
They should really have this celebrity boxing thing, but make it like a real.
Don't make it corny.
Yeah, like it needs to be like. People should just fight.
You saw they trying to do something. Blac Chyna's trying to fight.
The Kardashians?
I don't know who she did. Whoever wants to. You know, she's trying to get her money. She just lost that case.
Oh yeah.
She lost the case. The case is literally officially thrown out.
Yeah, they should though, because like talking on the internet to me is crazy.
Yeah.
And fighting and violence is definitely not the answer for things.
But talking on the internet is definitely crazy, especially when you guys are all rich enough, have enough time to pull up.
Yeah.
Whoever, wherever.
So for me, violence definitely is never the answer. But if you're gonna be talking, I would much rather it be a physical thing.
Yeah.
Than talking on the internet, or you could talk in person. You know, talk in person first, and then depending on what happens after that.
Yeah. Because
then you gotta fight.
Because then it's like if it's not resolved, then okay, I'm gonna keep talking online. I don't care. You know me, I'm a queen at subtweeting.
No, we do directs. Subtweeting, even though I was, of course, a part of that, it's so whack.
It is whack. Like looking back in my beefs, I feel like it was whack.
It's so corny. It's so corny.
Like I could have.
Because how soft are you?
Yeah. But the funny thing about it, I do both though. Because like I said, I be the main person. Well, not even the main person. I was the person in all my problems that confronted everybody. Literally. Yeah. I've always been the confronter. Like that's the thing with me. I'm gonna subtweet, but I'm not gonna act like when you're in my face, I'm not gonna be like, ooh, no, I didn't say that. Like, ooh, calm down. Nope. I'm like, yeah, I said that. And now we're face to face. But nobody ever wants to. Anytime I try to confront people, nobody ever wants to squabble. So I don't fight.
I know. I wish you would have got like knocked out or beat up, or at least in a fight once in your life.
So you're wishing physical violence on me? You're wishing I got hurt?
Yeah.
Why? I don't need to. No, my whole thing is you don't need to fight anybody. Fighting is,
you just said.
No, it depends. No, I said by squabble I mean like argue. I don't mean actual physical fight.
Squabble means physical fight.
Well, I didn't mean that way. Like honestly, there's no reason I feel like that you ever had to put your hands on somebody unless they did something insane. Like literally, it has to be so insane. Like you killed somebody, you hurt somebody else, you put your hands on somebody else. I'm the type of person that's like, there's no reason to fight. Like people who always want to fight, I feel like they don't know how to speak. Because like people who want to fight me, it's like you want to fight me over that, like that you are kind of whack. Like you don't even want to have a conversation, but you're so quick to say you want to fight for what? Because you don't have emotional intelligence.
Okay.
Emotional intelligence is key. You can really get off what you got to say in an argument, even if you're talking crazy. At least you get that off. Like people be so quick to want to fight. Like you got to do something really crazy to me for me to ever put my hands on you. And I don't fight, but it has to be something that's really crazy. Like you did something so detrimental to people, somebody in my life, or to me, for me to put my hands on you. Other than that, grow up, talk. Emotional intelligence.
Yeah, speaking of fighting and whatnot, so another, and this will probably be the last time that I'll speak about this, but
what?
The Tory Lanez Megan Thee Stallion situation has another. I'm tired.
I know.
It has another development. The next time that we will talk about this will be when the case is finally done, because I'm not going to be doing weekly updates.
It's been like 2 years.
Yeah, I'm not doing weekly updates on Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion. But supposedly, the LAPD report reveals that doctors who treated Megan Thee Stallion, her foot injury, after the shooting, confirmed she had injuries from stepping on glass. Now, the thing is, 2 points here. One, I'm not sure if in the report, because I didn't get to see it, I don't know if the report is stating that she had injuries from glass or that she had injuries from glass too.
Yeah.
So.
Because that could be clickbait.
Yeah, because, the headlines, they like to, spin things a certain way. So I'm not entirely sure.
Because from what I was told, not personally, but like what we seen initially was that they said that there was fragments and then they lost the fragments. Those bullet fragments, remember? And all of a sudden they went missing. Now you're saying that there was no bullet at all? Like, I'm just confused.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm waiting for this trial to pan out. But it's just weird because I feel like something so specific as you getting shot in the foot should just be so arguable. That's the word. It should be that happened. And here's the evidence. Like, there's no way you could hide the fact that you got shot in the foot. So it's like, I don't understand. I get the whole, the police report. They said that she said that she didn't get shot. But remember, she said she only said that because she was trying to protect him. And she knows how police officers react if they knew there was a gun, I get that. But it's like, it should just be so clear. Where's the body cam footage? Where's the blood on the street?
Well, they can't do that. They can't give out that information because that's the thing.
Oh yeah.
It's a whole court case.
Trial.
Like the doctors.
All that probably exists already. Yeah.
Yeah, all that stuff is already probably in evidence somewhere. They already have the answer, and they just have to play it out in trial. But yeah, we're not gonna be like, I saw somebody like, how come the doctor didn't just say this in the first place?
Yeah.
And it's like
no, we're just getting little blips of stuff that's coming out in the reports and evidence.
Yeah, and even still, the LAPD put out this report. It's not like the doctors put out that report.
When is the trial?
But yeah, it's just another twist and turn, and it's like, I don't know. Do you think that people even care what the result is aside from like just being able to talk about it on Twitter?
I think people care because it's like if Toy was right this whole time, like so many people have egg on their face, and it's like we really would have to hold Meg accountable for lying. And if not, then we would have to be like, wow, Tory's really a psychopath for this long trying to act like he didn't do it.
What's crazy is that I feel like even if it come like the trial conclusion is that she wasn't shot, that people are going to
find something,
say that she was shot and that the court system failed.
Yeah, the court, they're like, oh, so all of a sudden, like, you know, as the tweet's going to be, oh, all of a sudden now we trust the courts.
Yeah.
There's always something. But then if it's the other way around, it's, see, I told you.
Yeah.
When is this case? Summer? Wait. Yeah, see, this happened summer 2020. Like, what does take so long? Daystar Peterson's really a crazy name. His parents did not care. Okay, when's the trial? That's all I care about is the trial.
Yeah, well, anyway.
September 14th. Oh my God. I'm going to be 26 at that point. I was 23 when this happened. I'm going to be 26.
I hate when people do that.
What?
It's like, no, just say the year. Say how many years it was.
No, I'm saying like, that's a crazy concept. Like 2020, summer 2020 when she got shot, I was 23. I turned 24 in September 2014. Turned 25 just now, 2021. Old. Oh my God, we're getting old.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens, but just another twist and turn and random pieces of information that they're probably putting out to sway public opinion.
Yeah, they do this stuff purposefully, like just like the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial. Like, thank God it's coming back Monday because I'd been like waiting for this cross-examination, but they've been literally having a media war back and forth on both sides for public. You know, public perception is so important in these cases. First, I never understood why, because it's like at the end of the day, the jury is the one deciding your fate, but.
Yeah, they do, but it helps because it makes the lawyers and stuff, that everybody cares about their career as well. So like, if the case is higher profile and more people are tweeting about it, more people are watching it, like
everybody loves Johnny's lawyer.
Yeah, I forget her name.
It's two of them, right? It's the girl people think they're flirting.
I forget her name. What's her name? I feel so bad for not remembering her name because she's been smoking the trial, but the one that always is talking about yelling out objections and things like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, in the back. There's three of them. Because there's one in the back who's catching all that. And then there's the girl that they think her and Johnny Depp are flirting. And then there's the guy that gave him his candy. And everybody's like, oh, so cute. He gave him the candy. Like, everybody like loves them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, shout out to their lawyer team. And I'm sure we'll get a bunch of more now celebrity court trials are probably going to be a popular thing that pop up. But yeah, that's all I got. You could get into whatever you wanted to get to. You should have been turned it off. Might as well just leave it on.
Okay, fine. We'll leave it on. It probably won't even get picked up on the mics.
Yeah, it will.
You want me to turn it off?
I can hear it. No, it's okay. Just keep going. Keep rolling. It's the most dysfunctional pod of all time.
It is. We got a new camera if you guys didn't know this.
And the camera's going to shut off again, so.
In 30-minute intervals?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's what my camera does too.
Yeah, it's going to shut off again, so don't you worry.
Okay, so at least
we're going to do a bunch of punch-ins. Go ahead.
Next topic. We only have two more topics. So, stock. Oh, we'll leave that last. Let's stick to music. Thug and Gunna. Well, music. Celebrities in music. Thug and Gunna. You're going to jail. Well, they in jail already. So, obviously, everybody listening and watching should know by now. It's been like major news that Young Thug and Gunna got hit with that RICO. And it's because, you know, his Young Thug's record label / gang is just been involved, obviously, in racketeering, murder, all that stuff.
Allegedly. Also YSL is not a gang.
It's not, but it's a record label that they still call it consider it a gang by law.
Yeah, the cops. Yeah, they consider it that way.
That's why I'm saying it.
Yeah, but you don't say that.
I'm just saying.
Because I'm not getting this podcast pulled into evidence talking about like we throwing in all these allegations. I don't know nothing about nothing.
But yeah, I mean, my whole thing is, don't do the crime, you won't do the time. Honestly, like I don't feel sympathy at all. Like, people will expect you to feel like, oh my God, free Thug, free Gunna, blah blah blah. Gunna, I kind of feel bad for, because it's like, all right, he signed to a record label, and now I think it's just conspiracy for him or something, like conspiracy. So I kind of feel bad for him because Gunna doesn't give me the type that was ever involved in street stuff. I don't know him personally. I don't really listen to his lyrics like that. But right, was he involved in street stuff?
If he was, I wouldn't say it.
I don't know. Like honestly, like I feel like I just remember watching Over This from him when he was like rapping, and he looked like a little nerdy kid. So I don't know if he was really involved like that. But Young Thug, I don't feel bad. Like people just need to leave the street stuff alone. Like there's no way you don't have those ties. Like obviously there's attempted things that he done, attempted murders and all that stuff, and the car that he rented was used in a murder. It's like you involving yourself in this. Like okay, don't tell me his argument is gonna be he didn't know the car was gonna be used for that. Like yeah, you did. Like it's just crazy to me because it's like everyone wants me to feel like not me, but everyone wants us to feel sympathy with Black people and be like free them. Like no, people need to be held accountable. Like everybody think they're so invincible. You're not invincible. Just don't do crime. It's really not that hard. Like it's really not that hard. It's not hard to not go to jail. Just be a normal citizen. Like I don't get people make money. They make all that money and they make it and they still do. They still involved. Like it's that deep rooted in them. It's sick. And then here comes the Black people. They be like, oh my God, it's linked to slavery. We're only in gangs because of slavery. Like when is that excuse gonna go away? When is that excuse gonna go away? We know it's wrong. Killing is wrong. Killing, no matter what, is wrong. And so, like...
They're saying that we roll in gangs because of slavery?
I'm sure there's people who use slavery as an excuse saying, because we've been marginalized and segregated, for sure. and obviously taking resources of the community links to crime. Of course they do, yes. But when does the excuse stop, though? I know the cities and stuff are still so torn down from that, but when does it stop? Especially when you have somebody like Young Thug who made it out, who got money and still is involved. It's just like,
But keep in mind, you need to keep in mind specifically because you keep repeating that. Us looking at Young Thug, and I'm not justifying anything that was allegedly happened or anything that was done, but that timing of that murder, where this is specifically where this whole thing is coming from, was way before any of this. This was before like anything that was really popping came out.
Okay. But still, you still knew back then that murdering and assisting to murdering is wrong.
Because that was what, 7 years ago?
Yeah, but Young Thug been relevant for like almost like 10 years now, right?
Almost, like maybe 9.
Since we were like seniors.
Yeah, he had one song on Vine, the Stoner song.
Oh, that was him. I'm a Stoner.
That's what got it popping. And then he had all those. Like Best Friend came out 2014.
Yeah.
But you saw but that's why we were having this conversation off mic, and I was telling you, like, even in the Best Friend video, like his teeth were still messed up. Like he was still in the hood.
He still didn't really make it.
Like he had the song on Vine, but like, people weren't making money on Vine. Like
yeah.
So even though he still did have certain hits, and that might have still even been after like songs like Lifestyle came out. But that was like right around the same time, I believe.
It's such a weird thing because, like, obviously I can remember vividly being in those years. Like, that was our freshman year of college. Like, of course, I remember those times. But it's like such a weird thing to know like that was a new artist back then. Cause it's so like enveloped now into like the culture. And it's like, wow, like we was literally there in college when all those songs came out.
Yeah, for me, the way I feel about it, I try to be consistent, right? So if my family member was murdered,
yeah.
First of all, I'm not saying free anybody for anything because I really personally don't care.
Me neither.
But if my family member was murdered, I wouldn't want people running in the streets saying free them just because they make good music. So for me, the more unfortunate part to me, especially if we're ignoring any sort of systemic issues that are really the reason why Black people commit crimes, like ignoring all of that, let's just take all of that out of here and just say there was an alleged crime that these people committed and whatever. Like looking at the base of it, like I don't, because I can't care. Like there was a crime committed. Like there's nothing I can do about that. Like a crime was committed no matter what the reason was.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say for me to keep in mind is that, like, I don't think that, you know what, I'll say it. I think that some crimes are justifiable. I would assume in this particular instance that the crime wasn't justifiable. So I'm not gonna be sitting
some
here.
crimes.
Yeah, some crimes are definitely justified.
Like this, I know the stories of like that girl. She got out, that Cynthia girl. Remember her? Like
Yeah,
she killed her rapist or whatever. Her kidnapper. That's justified in my opinion. Because she had no other choice. There's no other way she didn't get out of that.
With this particular instance, I don't know what the story is. If I knew what the story is, I'm not going to be sitting on this podcast explaining it because I'm not going to be responsible for incriminating anybody either. But if the person that was the victim in this murder put out a hit on somebody else, I don't know, man. So I don't know the context. Allegedly, I don't know. I'm just gonna keep throwing in the word allegedly randomly because I'm not gonna incriminate anybody. But I don't have any context. If I have more context, then I could be even more definitive than I am. Yeah. I just can't. People do crimes. You can blame it on the systemic issues, and that may very well be the case. But at the end of the day, we all have a choice, and live with it. Unfortunately,
and we know what's right from wrong.
Yeah, the biggest blow to me with this, of course, is the music.
The music, and that's what everybody. That's usually why people only say free, whatever. Because the music,
they just like the music.
They don't really care about the personal lives.
But I ain't gonna say free somebody because
their music's not that good for me to want them to be free.
Like with YNW Melly, I don't know. I'm not speaking on his situation. I don't know whether what he did was true or not. Everything is alleged.
Yeah,
I don't trust the criminal system any more than anybody else does. But I'm not saying free anybody. Just because I really like Murder on My Mind. Yeah, and that song is amazing. But I'm not going to be yelling free anybody. But hopefully these things aren't true. I mean, I think we can say that. Like, hopefully this was something that was brought on and maybe there's something. Yeah,
maybe there's a silver lining.
Yeah, maybe this isn't like a thing that happened or the wrong people were brought in, and the government tries to do this like they do.
Yeah, they could have got it wrong. Like we see it on Power. Power is obviously a show, but they get it wrong all the time. They be thinking they know stuff. Like you saw how Tommy be laughing, or like that time when what's his name got arrested.
We never using power as a way to explain it.
Okay, but even on Snowfall, when let's go
to another show.
When Louis got arrested,
let's talk about The Wire. What else we got?
No, when Louis got arrested. And then the cops were trying to explain how she killed that what's her face. And then the second that she realized they was lying, she started laughing. And it's like I feel like a lot of these shows do depict that. Like these feds and like these cops don't know everything. They think they do sometimes, and they do take years to build these RICO cases. So usually they feel like they're right, and they have enough to prosecute. But
no, usually they're right.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying usually they're right. I'm just trying to put out some hope and maybe.
Yeah, and nowadays in 2022, there's so many ways to be in the know, and it's like undercovers now that literally look just like them.
Yeah, and
there's informants. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, a lot of people are rats.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate. No matter what the result is, it's unfortunate if their alleged crime was really tied to them. It's unfortunate if it wasn't.
Yeah.
Wish everybody whatever they had coming to them.
Yeah, you reap what you sow. My whole thing, and like I said, the only person who I think it's pretty innocent in this case is Gunna, even though he was denied bail. Why do you think he was denied bail? Flight risk?
Because they're not gonna provide you bail for a RICO case. Because they just wouldn't have brought you in then.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering what the reasoning was. If it was flight risk, because of him having money.
Is he a prior felon?
Good question. I think so. Isn't that one thing, that headshot of him? That mugshot?
Yeah, but was that prison or was that?
No, I just meant like
jail.
Yeah.
Because if he's already a felon, then he's not a flight risk because he can't leave the country anyway.
Yeah, so maybe that's why. Maybe they think he's a flight risk. Because he had to turn himself in too. That might be their reasoning.
They didn't even come and try to find him. So. Yeah. But, hopefully everything works out and that's the thing. I don't want to sound insensitive, but what I meant to say really was hopefully everything works out in the way that it was supposed to, whether people got rightfully convicted, wrongfully convicted. Hopefully everything just works out as intended and people aren't slighted in either way.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like, speaking of which, too, before we wrap up this topic, Lil Keed passed away. Early this morning.
Yeah.
Like 2 a.m. or something.
Yeah, it was really early. Like you were asleep. Remember, I woke you up. I was just about to go to bed and I saw I just saw someone say like, what the F or whatever. And I was like, what happened? I mean, anytime people say that, I'm like, oh, what happened? And I looked under and it was like, rapper died. I was like, who died now? Yeah, Lil Keed.
Yeah, the only person
I know from him is Nameless.
The only person in YSL that was not convicted. One thing I do want to verify, and I hate to bring this up at this sensitive moment because somebody did lose their life, but they did post that there was a picture that was going around of the YSL dog like in the back of the police cruiser. Was that real? Or?
I don't think that was real. I don't think that was real, babe.
Well, because the thing is, they would actually do that.
They're not arresting the dog.
No, they don't arrest the dog, but they actually do take the dog to the police station for somebody else to care for it, and then they actually put it in the. Why are you laughing?
No, because like I don't know if that picture of it was real.
Yeah, I don't know if it was real because I feel like that picture was edited.
Yeah.
From a real picture, but they put the green paint on the dog to make it look like the YSL dog. But they do that. If you have pets in the house and you get arrested, they take the pets out and then put them in the like where they keep the adopted animals. They put them in like they basically impound your pets. And I
think this is an old picture.
Somebody else could come in. I know. I think it's an old picture, and they just painted the dog. Edited.
It's not even the same type of dog. This is.
Yeah, not even close.
It's not a pit bull. This was like a golden retriever.
Golden retriever. Yeah. But yeah, rest in peace to little Keed.
Yeah, it's really weird.
It's weird.
Really weird. Like, weird timing. He's the only member. Yeah, weird timing.
Yeah, weird timing. We don't know the circumstances of what happened.
I heard drugs. I heard heart attack or something.
Yeah, people would have been from the drugs. People got to take it easy with the drugs.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Stuff is no joke.
Maybe we'll get to it after this, but yeah, it's crazy because that was one of them, probably the most popular, not the most popular, but one of the popular hip hop videos, and like in the culture was when Young Thug found Lil Keed. Like Young Thug just happened to be on his block, and Lil Keed was playing his music, and he signed him on the spot.
Wow, I never seen that.
And Lil Keed on the YSL album went crazy.
Oh yeah, the recent one.
Yeah, he's on there a few times.
Yeah.
So, definitely unfortunate situation. We still have to hear more, but I just wanted to bring that up too.
People gotta stop with, like, if it is drugs, people gotta stop taking this stuff. Like, even going back to us when we were talking about Kevin Samuels last week, like a lot of people theorize that he had, I don't know if there's official autopsy out, but he drank those Red Bulls every day. Like, there was a compilation on TikTok. It was mad uncomfortable because it was mad uncomfortable because it was like all the slurping and stuff that he was doing, but it's just. Every single episode, they said, like, I always thought he had alcohol in his little tumbler. It was Red Bulls, and that stuff is not good for you at all. Like, people really don't treat their bodies with love and care, and then they're shocked when stuff like that happens. Like, you shouldn't be dying at 24 from drugs. That's so sad if that's the case.
Yeah, and the thing,
shouldn't be dying from Red Bulls. They're not that good. They're not that energizing. Go get some sleep.
Yeah, right. So. When in these sort of situations, I try to be sensitive because you don't know why people. No, you don't.
No. I like to just go do extremes because some people, they intake these things to be cool. They intake these things because they're good. Like, how people just are addicted to food and like fast food. Like I'm more so criticizing just people in general just need to take care of their bodies. But obviously, there's a case by case basis. I don't know what Little Keed was going through. Yeah. I don't know why Kevin Samuels was addicted to Red Bull.
So that's the thing for me. When it comes to the drug overdoses, and we, again, don't know what happened, but for me, I question whether it was an overdose or if it was the bad drugs. And I feel like most of it, fentanyl. as of late, has been the bad drugs.
Fentanyl, right, yeah.
And now it's kind of like a weird position because it's like, I don't believe personally, for me, everybody can live how they want to live. I'm not doing the type of drugs. Well, I'm not doing any drugs at all, to be honest. I don't even do.
The farthest thing I've ever done and would ever do is weed.
I don't even like Advil, so I don't even like anything over the counter. I don't like any sort of thing.
I don't trust it.
The most I'll do is vitamins. I'll take vitamins. But I'm not doing anything else personally. Like,
when people talk about they did Adderall, they did Molly, this, I'm like,
It's too.
I'm too much of a hypochondriac. Like, I can't even smoke weed without feeling like I'm dying. So no, you got have fun.
Yeah,
it's never that deep.
I just wanted to say that because like that's people's own personal preference. As long as you're not doing any, for me, I don't care about anything anybody does as long as you're not
affecting someone else.
You're not harming somebody else. I don't care if you drink until you fucking drown.
Just don't drive.
Don't drive and put somebody else in danger. So if you want to do drugs, but do them safely. But I don't personally
encourage other people to do it. Do it on your own.
I don't personally care, but because I don't want people to continue dying, what I want to say is do your drugs responsibly. Like get the test kits where you can understand the chemical compounds in the actual drugs that you have, because people are going to try to make as much profit as possible. They're going to take the drugs, they're going to cut it down to nothing, and you're going to be sniffing Ajax. And
it's not funny.
I'm not being funny.
I'm laughing because I'm saying it's not funny.
That's serious. You're going to be sniffing Ajax and baby powder thinking that it's drugs, and it's not. And then people die from inhaling all that kind of stuff. So, and
that's the point I'm making. It's just like, I just want people to just care about their bodies, care what you're putting into. I think people just don't think about, like, even like simply us going, like we went out to eat today, simply just going out to eat, like you're trusting someone else to make your food. Like sometimes you really just do got to think about what you're doing, what you're consuming at all times, you know? I just think people don't think about it enough. Like I would be so scared in taking any type of drug that I would make sure I test that every single time. There wouldn't be a time miss. I don't care if I'm in a rush. I don't care if I just want to take something. I'm testing it, you know?
Yeah, and again, we don't know. I have to keep reiterating.
We don't know what happened yet, but
especially in these times where people are going to be cutting it down and putting fentanyl and everything else in it, or unknowingly, they don't even know what they're selling because
it might be the middleman.
The game is different now. Like back in the day, people wanted to sell the purest thing in the world because that was the best drug in the world, but now people just want to make money, make profit any way possible. So they don't even care if their customers die. When back in the day when they were selling drugs, it was more like, for lack of a better word, it was more honorable. Like, you don't want your customers dying because your customers die means your money dying. So it's like, but people nowadays, they don't care. So rest in peace again. And anybody out there that consumes recreationally, just do it responsibly, and hopefully we avoid those sorts of situations. And even though, again, I have to repeat again, we don't know what happened, so we'll wait to hear back from more. But
it's just a shame. We just see too many young people dying. It's just like,
we'll never know their true potential.
Yeah, that's a shame. 24 is wild. Yeah. So the last topic.
Yeah, we got about 15 minutes for this camera.
We're gonna go to StockX versus Nike and the resale culture.
Give it to 'em.
I'm not really sure the full details of this, but I know Nike's suing. Go ahead.
So,
need a businessman. You seen it at work, right? It came right across the terminal.
I saw it because I looked for it actually. Oh. Because I saw somebody else screenshot the article on Twitter or something. Oh, how did I see that?
It was on Instagram. Was the article? Did your company make the article?
Yeah, they did. But somebody screenshot it. I'm like, there ain't no way Bloomberg reported on this. But then I looked it up and I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. But
they always be reporting on everything.
On everything, yeah.
Everything business related too.
But for context for everyone, so basically the way this whole thing originated is StockX created these digital NFTs for people to have their sneakers in the metaverse, whatever you want to call it, the VR world.
The metaverse, are you said?
Yeah, I think I can't tell if metaverse is only Facebook or whatever the electronic world. I don't know. I don't. It's not for me. That's all I'm gonna say. Not for me. So StockX was selling digital goods using Nike's own branding and things like that. So basically they were making profit using logos and things that they and designs that they don't own. Mm-hmm. So that's where the lawsuit originated. So from there, as more things start to become introduced and Nike tries to build its case to get StockX out of here, what came up recently was the fact that that Nike employees purchased Nike goods from StockX, and they, over the course of a couple months, were able to identify that StockX was selling fake Nike products as well, which is illegal. Like people that wear fakes in America, they all get them from overseas, where China doesn't care because China cares about the money. So there's no regulations.
Regulations over there.
So for context, that's what happened. So the court case between Nike and StockX is continuing, and they're going back and forth. But this was the recent blow to StockX, and
it went crazy on social media. Like that was the thing I wanted to bring up, is because a lot of people obviously were celebrating and reflecting off of the times they've ordered and feel like something was off, or just experiences. And from our perspective, like, you Ben told me about StockX. I never once ordered from StockX. Only thing I used StockX for, honestly, was for the stock aspect of it, to see the price.
And even that I stopped, because if I want to see, the way they package it is nice. You can see the trends.
Yeah, it's like a real graph. Yeah.
But for me, you could get the same thing basically if you just go to GOAT and see
GOAT does it. I have
for.
I can guarantee you. Look, if you type in StockX on my thing, you got the little cloud thing. Look, how's the cloud thing? I don't use StockX no more. I literally haven't used that app in years. And like I said, I never ordered from there because you warned me. I never even had a desire to order from there. Like, honestly, whenever I order, when obviously I found out about StockX, we were still in college. I didn't have any type of desire to pay for resale back then. I was a broke college student making like $400 a month. I was not spending resale on shoes back then. But then by the time I actually did end up buying my first resale pair was probably post grad, like, I don't even remember. I think maybe to 2019, my first resale pair. I used GOAT. I've only ever ordered or trusted GOAT in Flight Club. And it just goes to show like how on it you are, because you've been saw the red flags. Like, I've been telling people that, like, don't use StockX. Been saying it's so corny, people wearing the StockX tag. Like, you look dumb. You look real dumb. You wear an authentication service tag on your shoe. Like it's a Jumpman. And even the Jumpman tag is corny. Like, take that off too. You know, like, people just so whack. But yeah, I've been knew what was up with StockX. You've been knew literally since the beginning of time, since the beginning of StockX. So I saw this kind of coming. And like you said, the main thing too is Nike never really even co-signed StockX ever. They co-signed GOAT.
Did they?
Well, you said they did something with GOAT, right? Didn't you say something recently? You said that Nike didn't do that with StockX, but they did it with GOAT. Or they used, didn't you say they used something? Or like, I forgot what you said.
No, all I said was that you see that they did it to StockX, but they didn't do it to GOAT.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's what you meant. Like, they never really, like, the fact that they didn't mention any other resale service.
Yeah, just StockX.
Yeah. I wonder if anybody would have an issue with Grail. Not really, right? Because Grail is more so it's like a middleman. It's like a third party.
Yeah, Grail is just eBay.
Yeah, Grail is just a service. It's a site.
It's direct to consumer from the seller. So it's literally just the same as eBay.
C2C, right? Isn't it like C2C?
Yeah. They're
a business, but they're not actually selling anything. They're just providing a service for people to sell.
Yeah.
So yeah. But Grail does have an authentication system. They do.
The thing about
why you laughing at me?
Business wise is that even if you as a business are not selling counterfeit goods, you still are liable. You are liable for the people on your site selling counterfeit goods. Even if
so, how does Grail's authentication service work? Does it work the same as GOAT?
That's why I laughed. No,
because it's bad. Isn't it based on pictures?
Yes.
Yeah, they'd be asking you to upload pictures. I mean, I think I upload something. They were like, "This is fake." Like that Heron Preston shirt that I tried to sell. I'm like, if it's fake, then why did I buy it off this site? I literally brought it off of Grail from someone else, and now I can't sell it.
Yeah, they do that all the time. Like, literally, I don't even want to tell that story for how much I paid for that hoodie. But basically, I bought a hoodie that was very expensive, like 4 figures expensive.
Which one?
It was a very old. God, what year was that? 2003. Raf Simons closer, Touched by the Hand of God hoodie.
I don't know if I remember it. I would know if I saw a picture.
And
4 figures.
Yeah, and I bought it, and I was like, okay, I'm bored now. So I went to go sell it, but they were like, "Yo, I tried to like put it up there twice, and they were like, nah, this is fake." And I'm like, okay, but why can't I post it if I just bought it from him over here? And then basically,
they gotta be careful then.
Long story short, I had to send the hoodie back to the guy that I bought it from. And then
that was awkward.
He had to give me the money back, and it was a lot of money. So I was like, I felt bad. I'm like, hopefully he didn't spend that money already. But yeah, there's a quote unquote authentication service is a joke.
Yeah.
Like, you're authenticating based on pictures.
Yeah. There's no real system. So yeah, Grail gotta be careful because they might be next, but. And another, I like Grail though. I do like Grail. Obviously, I like it.
Yeah, all those sites are cool. I'm personally, in my own personal growth, I'm getting closer and closer to a point where I'm almost done with
the
fashion.
shoes that you need.
With just clothing, fashion in general. And then when I can't, listen, I cannot wait till that time comes because I will never, I'm deleting Grailed, I'm deleting Goat, I'm deleting all those things.
I don't like that you say that though, because I feel like if you really, really are passionate about fashion, you're never done with it. It evolves and it changes, but you're never done with it. Like look at all these old designers who are in the 60s, 70s and still have a love and passion for it. I just think if you really are passionate about fashion and your look and everything, it never goes away. You're always gonna want to look good and feel good and wear.
Yeah, and you can, but I don't have to have any of those apps to do that.
Then how will you buy archive items?
I don't need to buy anymore. Especially if you're buying archive items. There's only a finite amount of things that exist. If I literally, you could go pull up any fashion runway show and see every single item. I did that the other day, and I went down and took down notes on every single item name, and I'm like, okay, I'll probably buy all of these.
But eventually, when we're adults, things now will be archived.
They would, but the difference between things now and back then is that Maison Margiela stopped designing for Margiela 17 years ago.
So the value might not even be up.
I don't care about the value. I just talk about the design.
No, I'm talking about just the cost that would be to buy it.
Just in general, like why buy Jill Sander from somebody else that designed for Jill Sanders? That's just me personally, because I don't. Not that somebody else can't come in and make a good design, even though they didn't create the company itself. But I'm more so along the lines of, I'm not gonna buy this Helmut Lang T-shirt for the name. It doesn't really make sense. It makes more sense to me to buy, if Margiela dropped a hoodie tomorrow, they can make a good hoodie. It's not like the brand is trash, but it's I prefer to just buy from the actual designer, because I told you I'm a fan of designers. I'm not a fan of brands.
Yeah.
Me personally, I told you, Gucci is cool, but I only like Tom Ford's designs for Gucci. I don't really like anybody else's iterations of Gucci, so I don't really have any need to ever look for anything else. Anything from that time period is over. So if I want to go back and reference it, I can always go reference it. But there's anything past that, it would be very difficult for me to get up out my seat for somebody's new designs, because fashion is now so saturated. It's there's only so many things people could do anyway. But what you can always do is appreciate what the pioneers did. Yeah. Like I told you, anytime you bring up something, I'm always like, wait, this person did that first.
Yeah.
This person did that first. This person did that 25 years ago.
But those pioneers are probably 10 right now that are gonna be creating things 10 years from now that you might love 10 years from now.
And we'll see. But the problem with that is that as fashion progresses, that becomes way harder to do. It's easy to do with footwear because people weren't even wearing sneakers.
This is a new thing.
Basketball sneakers are recent.
Yeah, in obviously our lifetime.
So things haven't been fully explored, but people have been wearing clothes for thousands of years. So there's only so many different iterations of design that you can do. And
maybe, but I mean, they probably said that 20 years ago, and people came up with stuff 10 years ago. I don't know, because we're recycling things even that happened 10 years ago. So it's yeah,
people are just chasing their tail, because all those graphic tees and all that got popping in the 90s, and then it just gets recycled over and over and over and over and over again. Now we want to go back to 80s fashion. We want to go back to 70s fashion.
Yeah,
everything is now just being recycled and reciprocated all over the place. But in each of those individual time periods, they look nothing remotely the same. The 70s don't look anywhere close to the 80s. The 80s doesn't look anywhere close to the 90s. But nowadays, fashion looks everything like all those other things. What we have currently is
what about something
Fashion Nova.
This whole subversive style, the cutouts.
Yeah, I think that's 90s.
Yeah, it's 90s, but with a twist of today. It's it being tight, I guess.
Well, I don't even know.
Yeah,
I don't even know if that's new. But that's just me.
A lot of the subversive stuff is slightly it was all derived from that cyber Y2K boom that came back, and then everything kind of went off that with the low rise jeans coming back, and all the jewelry and the even people, the way we take our pictures now, everybody wants to film cameras, and I brought one. I'm not gonna talk smack myself, but everybody wants to zoom into my pictures, so it's low quality. Like everybody wants that look back from like the 90s.
Yeah, but when you look at 90s fashion, you don't see any.
It was different.
Any influences of 70s fashion. You don't see people wearing big ass bell bottoms in the 90s, and same with like the 80s and 60s and 50s. Yeah. You don't see any of those things consistent except for right now, because nobody has any idea what to do because it's too saturated. Clothing has become too much of a big global phenomenon with Fashion Nova and all these places where you could get.
It's just too accessible. You
could get fly for $7.
And it loses its appeal when it's too accessible.
Yeah. So for me, I prefer to just reference the people that started it all. Like when I was we were in the fabric store and I'm trying to get all these different straps and things like that to make my own custom jacket. It's like, well, who am I really referencing? It's like, this is a specific designer that I'm thinking of. Yeah. So I prefer to have that. And because they no longer design, there's a time period between 1997 and whatever, that these people made these clothes, and then I can look up every single individual one of those items, see what I like, see what I don't like, and then buy that, and then that can be a significant amount of clothes.
Yeah, I get that. I just feel like when you're older, you should, still have that same passion for it.
Yeah, and I still will, but I just don't need to have Grailed and Goat.
Grailed and Goat might not even be there in the future.
Yeah, I just don't need those things to do so. Like even on my phone right here, I just have like a list of all these different things.
Yeah.
So I can screenshot and buy like all these different items. All these different things I want. And then eventually I'll be Gucci. And then that'll be that.
Okay.
Especially when the people that design the clothes anyway, they don't even wear anything. They wear the same thing every single day, and they be the flyest people.
Yeah. But as long as the passion doesn't go away. It doesn't have to be extravagant to be fashionable. Like your fit today was flea, and it was very like. I think it was. All right, I'm not doing this for you.
But yeah, any more comments on the StockX and thing?
Yeah, just wanted to talk about like the resale culture and how like I wanted to reference this tweet real quick, and this will be the last thing. But this tweet I made because somebody was saying how shut everything down. He said shut down StockX, Goat, Flight Club, all of it, shut it down, put the shoes back in the store where they're supposed to go. So at face value, that I was like, oh, okay, that tweet seemed like it makes sense, but no, it really doesn't. Like, I just want to talk about resale culture because it's like I feel like people have this thing now where it's like they want to point the finger at like StockX and the resellers, and they're the ones that like destroying the sneaker game. But like we had this whole conversation about on Thursday, or was that Friday? I think it was Thursday. Yeah, on Thursday we had a whole conversation about like how. So this is basic macroeconomics, basic supply and demand, that all Nike really needs to do is boost the supply of their shoes, and this whole resale market would have never existed. If everybody could get a pair of the Jordan ones that are hyped, there would be no demand for a resale market, because people who keep saying, oh, resellers are gonna keep buying up all the shoes. Buying up the shoes for what? For them to sell at a loss? If Nike just keeps making them and keeps sending them out, right? So, in my opinion, and our opinion, really, Nike just needs to, every shoe company just needs to make their supply high.
Whoa.
Well, Adidas already has, but easy.
No, I don't think that the companies need to do anything. I think that people need to just stop bitching. But if
about everything,
yeah, to accomplish what they want to accomplish, the companies would need to do that. But I don't think that they need to do that.
I don't think they need to do that either. Like, I think people just need to understand this is the game and stop crying and like understand that all the people who really are complaining are these new sneakerheads that came out of the blue who are confused why they can't get into the game really, because they feel behind because they can't really get into it because now you have to chalk up the money. Those are the ones really complaining. Everybody else who's kind of a veteran in the sneaker game, we got our rotation solid down already. Like I'm chilling. I got pretty much. I don't even have a desire to buy anything else. I'm good. I just want some Geo baskets, and that's not even hype. Like that shoe stays a stagnant price. I mean, it kind of got some hype. Rick Owens lately got some hype, so the resale for that is kind of fluctuating, but not really. But most people who have their solid rotation aren't complaining. Like, it's all you. Like, that's the funny part. All these new sneakerheads are the main ones complaining. It's like, it's your fault. You guys realize that, right? All you guys came out of the blue. You put down the H&M shoes and the Vans, and now you want to wear Jordans, and you are a part of the problem, though. Like, the demand went up because of you guys. Like, people don't realize, like, somebody who said in my mentions, like, the sneaker game used to be a subculture. Like Jordans, people who were wearing Jordans, I used to literally be a subculture. Like I remember in high school, because I wasn't really a part of that back then because I didn't have money. But there was only a few people in my school who wore Jordans. You know, it was like a select few. Like it really was a subculture. Now you look around, everybody got Jordans. You look like a little preppy white girl is wearing ones. Like what is going on? That's the reason why. Like demand went up and supply has stayed the same.
Why she gotta be white?
Because you know that white people love to appropriate and jump on stuff. They love to take the culture. And the funny thing is, a lot of black people are blaming the whites, which it is their fault too. It is, but it's like, you know, new sneakerheads come in all races. They come in all races. Don't try to blame the white people. It's your fault too. You're black, but you wasn't wearing sneakers 2 years ago. You was wearing Vans and you was wearing those shoes from H&M. Let's really be real. But yeah, demand went through the roof in the last 2-3 years. Supply has stayed probably the same. The resale market is, of course, going to take advantage of that. And the resale market is like any other market, like the stock market. It's all contingent on the variables. And if the variables are all these sneakerheads came out the blue and Nike doesn't have a super high quantity, that's what's going to happen. It's not the resellers, individual resellers are setting these prices. It's the market. The market is setting the prices, and the market is set by us. The same way the stock market fluctuates by consumers of this earth, it's the same way the resale market fluctuates because of consumers, you know? That's the funny part. At the end of the day, us individuals have so much power. If we actually came together and did things, we could affect the stock market. We could affect the resale market. But nobody wants to take individual responsibility ever. They just want something to blame. It's the resellers. They're hoarding the shoes. Okay, but the resellers wouldn't have no reason to hoard the shoes if Nike had enough shoes. If all you guys went back to wearing shoes from H&M, from Forever 21, there would be enough for everybody. So yeah, I made a tweet saying that I was like, Nike needs to have higher quantities with basic supply and demand. The resale market is controlled by the demand consumers makes and by limited quantities. And we had a discussion too about how Adidas did this, and it worked really easy. Like literally, that resale market is very leveled out now. It's very calm. You know, it's normal because there's a new Yeezy dropping every day. Like I can't keep up anymore. And there's a lot of quantities. There's enough quantities. So my whole thing is StockX could go. GOAT is not the problem. Flight Club's not the problem. GOAT and Flight Club they're just third parties between buyers and sellers. Like people need to realize that it's not GOAT that's selling you the shoe. It's not Flight Club that's selling you. Well, Flight Club is kind of, people are giving their shoes to Flight Club. So Flight Club is selling. But GOAT isn't. GOAT is just an authentication service. They're a third party. But, I mean, Flight Club, they charge a premium. I think we all know that. But they do that because they have authentication process themselves. Like when you go to Flight Club, you know you're getting new sneakers. You know you're getting authentic shoes. So let them charge the premium. They have that right to do that. But other than that, their premium still wouldn't be that super high because they're still looking at the market themselves. They're not going to charge a super high price if everybody else is selling it for half the price because they're not going to get no sales, you know? So stop blaming the resellers. Blame yourself for one. If you are a sneakerhead, if you were born a sneakerhead prior to 2019, 2020, is your fault. Stop blaming the resellers. So yeah, what do you think?
Thank you guys for watching.
Well, no, wait. Another thing I want to add too is like Alex he's like an OG obviously in the sneaker game, and he said something too that like people used to sell shoes on eBay. Like he sold shoes on eBay, so it's like the resale market is not a new thing too. It's been around, and going back to the main tweet too, they're saying that putting shoes in the store will be the solution. Not really. When shoes were in the store, people were dying. Like that's the thing too. Like that's another thing. People were literally dying for shoes. This whole hype for shoes is not new. The resale market is not the resale is not the problem. This is not a new thing. People were killing each other over shoes. Like putting them in the stores doesn't solve anything. If the supply is still low, then putting them in the stores is not going to do anything. Like, people swear these bots, like you said, they swear these bots are such a huge deal when bots are not literal robots ordering shoes. They're humans who are operating a bot to order shoes, but they still have to pay the money. Like people don't just have, like you said, thousands of dollars to shell out on trying to hog up all the shoes. There are a select few of people who have backdoor access, and they do that, and they do the hoarding, and they have enough money to do that. But that's not the average reseller. People who have bots are probably getting maybe 2 to 5 pairs or something like that. Maybe 10, right? Not even that though, because the average shoe was like $200, $10,000. I mean $2,000 for shoes for 10 pairs. I don't know if the average reseller is doing that. They might get 2 or 3. And like you made a good point too the other day. With these sites, there's so many different firewalls to even bypass that bots are not bypassing. And you need to have multiple addresses. Like there's limits on these sites, which the bots might be able to bypass those limits, right? They might be able to go through the coding, but I don't think they're that advanced. But there's limited quantities when you order shoes online, and you only can send it to a different address. Like, so unless somebody has 30 different addresses, they're not ordering 30 different pairs of shoes, you know? So, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah. Putting them in the stores, I don't think it's a solution at all. If anything, it would make the shoe game more chaotic. If you couldn't get shoes online, it would make it so chaotic. And I get some people's point. It's like you feel like it's more fair game because you get to sit on like overnight, right, and online and have a chance to go get your shoe in person. So I get what people say in that context. Like you could go back to the camping out days, and you have more of a chance than to try to get a raffle or to try to beat millions of people at once, you know. But it's not a solution to the resale market. That's the thing. Like, it's not a solution to the resale market at all.
So. Yeah, because I'm just gonna camp out and resell the shoes though.
Yeah, right. Like,
so.
Like, yeah, exactly. People are gonna be online just to resell suit. Like, it's not gonna change it. People swear they know. They know. And the funny thing is, it always boils down to basic economics. Like, niggas didn't take a single microeconomics class a day in their life. You could take economics in high school. Like, and that's why I hate when some people criticizing me on my tweet. And then even this one girl had the nerve to be like, people who are not in the culture shouldn't speak in. I'm like, girl, who's not in the culture? I go on your page, you buying all hype stuff. And you say, I'm not in the culture? Well, don't look at me. I'm about, what about hype stuff I got? Besides the breads and the black cats.
And the Travis's.
The sales? The Air Force Ones? They fire. They're not like,
and
okay.
The Off-White Jordan ones.
Okay.
And the Off-White Prestos.
Okay.
And the Unions.
Okay. The metallic greens.
And the Ramones after they were already popular.
No, I got them before popularity. I got them in the beginning of 2020. What else?
The Prada combat boots.
Why are you trying to come for me?
I'm just pointing out the pattern.
First of all, it's the.
Thank you guys for watching. This has been the Couple of Things podcast.
My criticism of that girl, she got more easy accessible stuff. She was wearing New Balances and Wave Runners. Wave Runners dropped like 4 times. Sis, I'm not impressed. You want to talk about I'm on a culture, girl? Look at my rotation. And I did the math. 72% of my rotation is, actually I got to add those two. Yeah, it's about like 72% of my rotation is retail. Real sneakerheads know how to cop retail. So don't play with me. You buying stuff on third releases, talking about I'm on the culture. Girl, you not on the culture. You wearing New Balances. You not Flea. Only certain people can pull them off. No, New Balances are fine. DC people, DMV people, they be rocking those New Balances. She looked a mess. You want to talk about I'm on the culture. Girl, do you know me? Like, she's like, this is a problem with social media. You're the problem with social media. You think you know my 25 years and 8 months on this planet off of a 250 character tweet. You're a psychopath. So anyway, he was trying to talk crazy about me saying I'm in the culture. Girl, I am in the culture, and I'm also educated. I have 2 degrees in accounting. I had to take macro and micro and a few other. I think those are only 2 economic class. You have a whole freaking economics degree. We are providing our education on top of our experience. This nigga right over here, not to call you out your name, has so many freaking shoes. You have no idea. And you want to say, I'm not part of the culture. This is the culture right here. I've been like a student for 8 years.
I am culture.
I've been a student of him for like 8 years.
What kind
learning this game. He has so many shoes that you would throw up. Okay? And sold them. So yeah, you buy that him because he's a reseller, right? But sold them. So I got economics degree, accounting degree. We both had to take macro and micro. Basic supply and demand. You're going to say, I don't know when I am the culture. You probably not even a Black American talking about I'm not the culture. Are you even Black American? Is this even your culture? Or are you an immigrant? Like your parents immigrated here and didn't create this culture. of sneakerhead culture, because I came from Black Americans. So please, don't ever even try me. And not even that. I'm from Brooklyn, lived in New York, from the Northeast.
You're not from Brooklyn.
And
you sound pressed. So
it's just because I don't like people acting like they know me.
I'm cutting you off.
I'm educated and I'm a part of the culture. So that's where my point of view comes from. On my point of view of the resale game comes from economics, supply and demand, and the fact that I've been on Adidas Confirmed app, taking L since 2016, 2015. I was crying tears because I couldn't get Yeezys. Ben trying to get shoes forever. Like, been a part of this. Been copping shoes. Literally was in the dorm room hacking the Confirmed app to make it look like I was in New York to try to cop shoes. Like, girl, don't even try to play me. I know the sneaker game, and I've been a part of this for almost 10 years. So, and she didn't even reply back, because these people always in my mentions and are peas. I'm not gonna say the word, but they wimps. Like, don't come in my mentions and I reply and you don't reply back. Let's have a discussion. Anyways.
Thank you guys for watching. This has been the A Couple of Things podcast, where we talked about a couple of things, and we are out of here.